What we're going to do today primarily is focus on Bitcoin, Ethereum, the dollar, and the equities market. Let's just get right into it. Obviously, we cannot forget the sponsors of this video, Prime XBT. It's been almost 2 years that we've been working with Prime XBT. So shout out to the Prime team. Thank you so much for the continued support. If you want to support me, one of the easiest ways to do that, use that Prime XBT link in the description of the video. Use code MAIN50, deposit some money and do some trading. You can trade things like Euro USD on Prime with crypto as collateral. You can trade gold. You can trade the S&P 500. You can trade natural gas, oil, all that kind of fun stuff on Prime. All right, so let's get into it here. So Bitcoin, we've crushed the last couple trades. I had this long that we posted from here to here in Telegram, stop entry target, free money main, over 2R, handed to you on a silver platter. And I ask you quite simply, who's doing it like me? Like who in their free Telegram? Obviously behind a paywall, people are giving out signals. I do. But in a free Telegram, in front of almost 18,000 people, stop entry target, handed to you, silver platter, allowing you to eat. Free money main, the only one. No one else is doing it like this. Okay, so we're not going to go into the hindsight. We're going to just talk purely about what's going on in price right now because the long played out. We're still in a range, and I'm personally looking for longs still. You can see here that indicator gave that same long trigger, which is pretty cool. So I'll have some more for you guys on this indicator soon, but it's pretty cool. It marks out price action, how I mark out price action. So ranges, SFPs, breakers, OBs, and it actually will show you where I would enter based on the standard entry fractal that I'm always talking to you guys about, right? So if we're looking for the entry fractal, right? This thing, it'll actually mark that out for you because that's what you have right here, right? You have your high, sweep, MSB, retest. All of this occurred right here, and this will mark it out for you. It marks out the SFP, shows you the entry, shows you the order block. It even tells you where to take profit. This is 1R right here, for example, which is pretty cool. Still in the works. We'll update you guys soon. But for now, what I'm looking at on Bitcoin, right? We had this 12-hour range shift bullish. We swept the high. We had a 12-hour SFP at the low. You could argue that, the breaker is the raid candle here. So that's what I'm using as my area of interest. And you can see we came very close already. So I'm looking for longs in here. Now we might get front run. Like this might be as low as it goes. You can see we're putting in a potential 12-hour SFP. So I am bullish here on Bitcoin for a move higher. I'm aiming for 32K. Ideally, I would like to get a long in here, but I might not. If we just SFP here, I might have to enter and chase a little bit, but ideally we get one more push lower. Maybe we put in another H12 low here and then push lower, but that's my game plan. I'm looking for a long in this gray box, targeting here. It's that simple. Now, if you're just like, hey dude, I think this is gonna go up from here, you're not gonna get your fill. Technically, you could enter like this. Risk reward is plenty good because it should not go below here if it's gonna go up from here. Right? Because if it goes below here, then I'm going to be able to find an entry much lower because I think if we lose this low, we then will come in and fill this fair value gap and things like that. So you could enter the trade right now. You could wait for the 12-hour to close and say, okay, it closes an SFP. You could then go down to the hourly and say, okay, well, I'm actually going to wait and I'm going to enter when it flips the breaker here. And then your stop goes below here instead. Lots of ways you can do this. I'm going to wait it out a little longer because my ideal entry is going to be within this gray box. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. And it is what it is. But I'm looking for within this gray box to have my buy fractal, right? So maybe this is the low. We sweep this low, right? And then we come up. This becomes their breaker, maybe something like that. That would be my ideal situation. Or a move deeper into the box, right? Deeper into the discount. And then we get it within here. We get the sweep. We get the setup. Okay? So very, very basic plan for Bitcoin and what I'm looking for based on the H12 and the H1. Now, I'm still holding my swing short from up here from this breaker because we came in, we tagged it again, tagged my entry again, SFP'd here, but my swing short now, I am going to de-risk and bring my stop lower depending on what happens. So to me, I'm looking at two separate trades. I have my swing short here, and I'm basically banking on this being a lower high and then us continuing down. But I am prepared to take a long if something sets up in here, and I'm willing to cut that short if we get above this high. So my swing short stop is here. I'm going to trail it to here because if we get above here, I think we go to where my original stop was anyways. You either trail it to here or you trail it to here, because this is, to me, this is the key resistance here for the bulls to break. But the thing is if I get an H1 trigger in here, a trade from here to here can be 2 or 3R, depending on how it sets up on the H1, right? So I can still have my swing short play out and then take this long counter trend and close it, and then we could dump. Who knows, right? What I'm talking about taking along here is the exact same as the long I took here and the long I took here. I'm still in my swing short, but I can still play day trades in the other direction. And that's all I'm doing, right? So to me, those are the very, very clear levels, right? This is your major resistance for the bulls. If we get a pullback into here, I would look to long it, and this would be my initial target. If we start closing above here, I'm going to cut that swing short, and I think we will trade up into here. And the way that this works, the way that that helps, is because if we fail here and just go lower, I'm still in my swing short. If we bounce here, but then fail, I'm still in my swing short, right? But if we bounce here, I take, let's say, 50% off, and then we start closing above here, guess what? I'm cutting my short, and at least I have some long exposure from down here. So if I decide to compound, my average entry is a whole lot better. So I'm trying to play both directions, because you can do this by trading on multiple exchanges. You can do this by trading on different pairs, right? You could be long on the USDT margin side and short on the coin margin side or the USDC margin side. You can have sub accounts and things like that. There's lots of ways that you can do this kind of hedging. Or if you want, if you took that swing short with me, you can just sit in it, do nothing. If you're not short at all, you can just take this long and just see what happens. But based on how the H12 is setting up right here, we have a bullish range, right? So bullish range, and we're pulling back into it towards a POI. So if we come in here and a long sets up, I simply just take the trade. That's the game plan. Hopefully that's super duper fucking clear. Looking for a long here, target 1, target 2. If we get above these highs and close an H12 or daily candle, I will cut my swing short and I will hold on to hopefully the long that I'm in. The worst case scenario for me would be this. This is the low. We do not tag me in, and then we go up here and I close my swing short, because then I'll have closed my short for a loss and I won't have any long exposure. That's basically the worst case scenario. Okay, but hopefully that plan is super duper clear. If we close above this box, specifically these highs on the 12-hour of the daily, my swing short from like a month ago almost, I'm closing. Hopefully we spike a little lower and I can get a long into this level, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so Ethereum, I mentioned this one in my Telegram, right? As I'm looking for longs based on a very similar setup to Bitcoin, right? Here we have a 12-hour breaker. So this up candle drove us below these lows, okay? And then we broke market structure. Now we're retesting it. And we have some pretty clear liquidity here. So the same as Bitcoin, I think you can long this right now if you want to. Decent risk reward right now. Or you wait for it to trade deeper into this zone. We do have an SFP happening right now, that SFP'd, but we could trade lower and deeper into this zone first. But the same idea as Bitcoin. I'm looking for a long to set up in this gray box. If this gray box fails, then the last chance for the bulls, in my opinion, are within this weekly zone. So we have this 12-hour breaker down here. So this is the up candle for a down move that took out these lows here. So if we don't go up from here, this is the next area I would look. Just like on Bitcoin, if we don't go up from here, remember from previous videos, the next area I'm interested in looking is here in this fair value gap into this candle. That was kind of the game plan. 27,500 area. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I just want some fucking expansion, right? Like I want this. I want this. You know, this has been kind of a painful little range here for, you know, the last 3+ weeks. I mean, basically since, you know, late June, you know, we've been oscillating on either side of 30K, above 30K, below 30K, but not much move in either direction. So if I take a line here and drag it to 30,000, right? I mean, this is where we're at. Need a little bit more action, need to see a little bit more. I'm still monitoring this range. Remember guys, June's range here as an area of interest. So if we pull back deeper, right below that 50%, this fair value gap, that's the area if we're going to have a deeper correction. But that's all from last stream. So game plan for Ethereum, very similar to Bitcoin here. I want to see a bullish setup form within this gray box. If we get one, I'm going to long, targeting here. If we do not get one, I'm going to be looking for a move lower into here. But yeah, it's been slow, guys. It's August. Statistically, if you look back in time, the markets generally are pretty slow in the summer months. I'm expecting when September comes and we get into, we're already in Q3, but as we get into, kind of mid to late Q3 going into Q4, I absolutely expect the volatility to pick up. But you can see here, volatility very low right now, right? So I want to see some action. I want some more volatility. You can see the periods of max volatility. Here's the COVID bottom. Here is all-time high. Here is that second all-time high, I think, right around here. I want price to be a little more volatile and give us just some more fucking trades. But again, we've been doing okay trading this tight little range, but it's a lot more fun when price is expanding. Now, when you zoom out, not a ton has happened here. Obviously, the most concerning things for the bulls, right, are the higher time frames. Like if you look at the weekly and the monthly, like this looks like it's failing to break out. So if the bulls are going to go, they got to go relatively soon, in my opinion. So I'm hoping we get that volatility come in the latter half of August going into September. But in terms of day trade plans, I've laid them out super straightforward for you guys here. Looking for longs in both of these gray boxes on Bitcoin and on Ethereum. Otherwise, 1700 to 1740 Ethereum and 28K to 27,500 Bitcoin is where I'd look after that. Okay, let's quickly look at the dollar here. So the dollar still within this 12-hour range. We swept the low, traded up to the high, swept the low again. Very bullish looking candle here, obviously. So this looks like it wants to trade higher. This is a very strong SFP that it's put in here, in my opinion, running all these lows, slightly higher low than the previous one. To me, gun to my head, I think the dollar then trades up into here. Right. So however this range resolves, I think we get another leg on the dollar soon towards 104. The stock market here. So, I mean, this looks weak though. So something to consider. If the dollar continues to go up, I expect this to continue to sell off. So if we get a daily close below 4475.6, that will create a new bearish H12 range here. Well, we already have gotten that close because this market's already closed. So this is going to be a new bearish H12 range. So we'll have a new swing high and we'll see a new swing low form. But equities look very weak to me, right? Like equities look very weak. Big wick. This is starting to look like it might break down. SFP for now could end up being a weekly SFP from here coming into that previous floor, and the dollar looks really strong, right? So I'm bullish on the dollar still, and I'm bearish on equities for the time being, but that's not enough reason for me to not potentially punt along on Bitcoin or Ethereum if I see something set up that I like. Bullish dollar, what does that mean? Bearish metals, right? Dollar's going up hard. Look at gold. Look at silver, right? They look bad. So silver, we have a swing low here now. So any sort of move up on silver into here, assuming the dollar continues to be strong, I would be looking for sells for price to continue trading lower. Just like this, right? You had your bearish range, high to low, retrace into the order block, sell off. Bearish range, high to low, retrace into the order block, sell off. Bearish range, high to low, retrace to the order block, look for a sell off. Same thing. Gold is the same. I ended up taking a long on gold, got stopped. We've just continued to put in bearish market structure here. You have your high and we don't have our range low yet. But again, as long as the dollar's bullish, going to be bearish on metals, right? Same thing for like Euro USD. Look at the bearish range on Euro here. Look at that SFP that we got here. Dollar is strong, failed to close above the range high. I think, Euro, if we get a retest of this breaker here, I'd look to probably sell that down into all these lows here. We've got this kind of trend line liquidity here. So if we get a bump up here tomorrow or next week, I would look to sell that, targeting here and targeting the range lows. Anytime someone is posted on Twitter and there is something abnormal about their neck, I get tagged. And then I tell people to stop tagging me. And then instead of stop tagging me, people superimpose my face on it. But my neck is not that big. Come on. Maybe slightly above average. Maybe slightly above average. I mean, okay, it's pretty big. My baby ordered no pickle.
My baby asked for no pickles, and there's pickles on here.
And the fries are cold.
These fries is cold. Oh my gosh, these fucking fries are cold.
See, we need to bring back that type of bullying. It's good for people. guy says he farted in his fish tank and killed his guppy. You basically holocausted him. You gas chambered your own fish. And I can say that because I'm Jewish. That sounds like a bad word. How come there was bullish news and no one told me and I made no money? When's one of y'all gonna slide old Maine a little fucking tip? A little hot, spicy tip. Not the tip of your dick. You guys are gross. Kind of creepy, you know? What the fuck? Give your boy a couple bucks. Get those likes to an acceptable level. Oh God, he's doing it. Neck normal, but head small from tiny brain. Exactly. I've never heard that before, but thank you. What type of businesses do you have? Are you the feds? See, this is a question I like. If you had to either lose your legs or arms, which would you choose? I'm gonna say arms, right? No, legs. Gotta be legs. How do I get good looking like you, man? Have better looking parents, bro. That's it. Okay?